Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Jai Hind, and welcome to Khan Global Studies. So I hope I am properly audible and visible to all of you. I hope I am properly audible and visible to all of you. Good evening. Okay, so good evening, everyone, and welcome to the session. In today's session, we are going to discuss today's current affairs. The topics which we are going to discuss, let us first have a look at this. That what are the topics which we are going to discuss? First thing, we are going to discuss about this one provision of citizenship under the Constitutional Amendment Act of 2000, the Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019. So this will be the first topic which we are going to discuss. The second topic which we are going to discuss is with respect to Aditya L1 and the solar probe. Like the solar storm which was there, how Aditya L1 has contributed to it, what was so unusual in the case of 2024 solar storms. So that is one thing which we are going to discuss. Third part is military exercise, Surya Kiran and Harimau Shakti. They have been recently organized, Harimau Shakti also and Surya Kiran also. So we will see a brief information about these two things. Then we will talk about the appointment of Chief Election Commissioner. This is again there in the news. So we will just take a little bit hint about this Chief Election Commissioner post. Then we will talk about the transport crisis in India. We will try to see it that what is the transport crisis in India. And then we will talk about some prelims special topic which we have started. So these are the topics which we are going to discuss in today's session. Now, in the last session, I have asked you some questions, and yes, many of you have given the correct answers. You have mentioned about the biodiversity hotspots also. You have given the answer of this question also. So this is one thing, like which of the following is not a feature of Indian federalism? Which of the following is not a feature of Indian federalism? And yes, the correct answer here is option number D, that Indian federalism is a result of agreement between states. This is the incorrect statement. So that's why I think most of you have given option D as answer, and that is correct also. Okay. Then second thing, give the list of 4 biodiversity hotspot in India. You all have mentioned it correctly, that we have Himalaya, then we have Western Ghats in Sri Lanka, then we have Indo-Burma and Sunda land. So 4 biodiversity hotspots are also there. So all of you have given that correct answer, that those 4 biodiversity hotspots, what are they? Okay. So this is the first part. Now we will look at today's question also. We will look at some of the questions in today also. First question which we have here, Swamitva scheme can help to reduce the number of property disputes in rural India. It is being implemented by Ministry of Rural Development. It is a centrally sponsored scheme. I am your new student. आप मुझे अपने पढ़ाने का तरीका बताइए, और मैं 2026 में अपना फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट दे रही हूँ. प्लीज हेल्प. Okay, Harshita, welcome to the session. Like we are having our current affairs session. We do it on daily basis from Monday to Friday, and we discuss the important current affairs. We also solve some questions on the basis of it. So if you stay regular, you will understand how we approach the current affairs. Like today we are discussing some topics. On the basis of that, you can expect some questions in upcoming classes. So C option, D option, C option. If we look at this, Swamitva scheme can help to reduce the number of property disputes in rural India. This is one of the part which is correct. This is one of the option which is correct, that this is correct. Second part, it is being implemented by Ministry of Rural Development. This one is incorrect. It is Ministry of Panchayati Raj. It is Ministry of Panchayati Raj, not the Ministry of Rural Development. So second option is incorrect. It is a centrally sponsored scheme. That one is also incorrect. It is a central sector scheme. It is a central sector scheme, not a centrally sponsored scheme. So that's why the answer here will be option number A. That is only one. How come everyone has given C or D as option? The answer here is A option. That is only one. Second question. Carbon markets are an effective tool for fight against climate change. Establishment of carbon market is required under the provisions of Paris Treaty. Both statements are correct and statement 2 explains statement 1. Both statements are correct, but statement 2 does not explain statement 1. Then statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. Statement 1 is incorrect, but statement 2 is correct. How it will solve property dispute? Right now in the rural areas, one of the major problem is people are not having clear records of the land. This one is going to provide them the land records. This is going to provide them the clear idea about the possession of land or the ownership of land. Once people are having clear ownership of land, there will be lesser litigations, and even the existing litigations can be solved on an easy basis. Okay. So that's why. C option, A option, B option, D option. So in this is a democratic question. All four answer. C also, A also, B also, and D also. If we look at this one question, carbon markets are an effective tool for fight against climate change. This one is correct statement. Generally, carbon markets are considered as an effective tool for fight against climate change because it helps in arranging the finance. It helps in arranging the finance for fight against climate change. So that is part 1. Second thing is, establishment of carbon market is required under the provisions of Paris Treaty. So we have Article 6 of the Paris Treaty, which asks for having a carbon market. So both these statements are correct. But the statement 2, it is not explaining the statement 1. Hence the answer here will be option number B. Both statements are correct, but statement 2 does not explain statement 1. So answer will be option number B. Answer will be option number B here. Third question. How many of the following are potential application of neurotechnology in the near future? Increasing the IQ of a person, treatment of depression, brain-computer communication, and development of better AI systems. So how many of them can be an application of neurotechnology in the near future? How many of them can be application of neurotechnology in the near future? D option. Arshad is saying D option. B option from Isha. C option also. C option, D option. Is there any project like Neuralink for creating a living being without reproduction, just only machine? I'm not sure about any such mission. I have no such idea about any such existing mission. A is incorrect. So yes, increasing the IQ of person, that is not something which is related to it. Treatment of depression, brain-computer communication, development of better AI system. All these things are possible. So that's why the answer will be only 3. So increasing the IQ of a person is not something which is possible with the help of Neuralink technology. Okay. So that's why the answer here is option number C. Option number C. In UPSC prelims exam, you can get a question like this, that which of the following are potential application of a particular technology. So if you go through previous year question, you will find many such questions in the exam. Okay. Now, there is this one information for you. There is this Parivartan batch, the mentorship program for UPSC Prelims 2026. Those who are appearing for 2026 prelims, we have a Parivartan batch. This Parivartan batch is having test series. It is having current affair sessions, and it is also having mentorship. It is also having the mentorship. So through the Parivartan batch, you can consolidate your knowledge, you can enhance your skill, and you can also boost your confidence. There are 47 tests in the first phase, 8 tests in the second phase, and mentorship support throughout this program, especially in the third phase. So you will also get current affair recorded session. This is going to start from 23rd of December, and it is available offline as well as online. Okay. So this is the first part, Parivartan batch. At the same time, we are also having a crash course for UPSC Prelims 2026. So this crash course is going to start from 12th of January, near about 100 days program. Okay. It will have near about 100 days program. This will also have 18 tests for practice. It will cover GS plus CSAT plus test series plus current affairs and even economic survey plus budget. Economic survey and budget will also be covered as part of this crash course. So it will be a complete package for your UPSC preparation of 2026. Yeah. So this is one of the portion. We are having 2 batches. One is crash course, which is completing your syllabus and everything. Plus, we are also having a mentorship program, that is Parivartan batch. Editorial and text context ko kaise padhe? You will find one thing, Arshid, that if a editorial is important or if a text and context article is important, we are discussing that in our classes. So you don't have to worry about it. Just read any one editorial for your language part, but for information part, you don't have to worry. You will find that if there is a relevant article in text and context, we cover that in our current affair classes. Okay. So now let's start our discussion. So here we have the first topic, that is Citizenship and Constitutional Amendment, Citizenship Amendment Act. So there is an observation of this Supreme Court with respect to availing the citizenship by certain minorities. Okay. So we will see the context, but first let us see the background. If we talk about India, how can someone get the citizenship of India? In what manner a person can get the citizenship of India? So this is being regulated by the Citizenship Act of 1955. It is regulated by the Citizenship Act of 1955. A person can get citizenship by birth, by descent, by registration, by naturalization, or by incorporation of territory. This registration option, it is for overseas citizens of India or persons of Indian origin. It is for the naturalization, it is for any foreigner. It is for any foreigner. And then if India is acquiring some territory, if India is also taking over some territory, then they will also be provided the citizenship of India. So there are 5 different things: by birth, by descent, by registration, by naturalization, and by incorporation of territory. So through these 5 methods, there can be the option of getting the citizenship of India. But in this context, there is another change. there was this Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019, the Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019. And as part of this, there are certain groups who have been given special rights, like, for example, Hindu, Sikh, Buddhist, Jain, Parsi, and Christian. And that too only from 3 countries. If these people are coming from Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Afghanistan, and if they have come India before 31st December 2014, then they might apply for Indian citizenship. So what is the basis? What is the basis of this relaxation? Why they have been given this relaxation? This relaxation was provided on the basis of the religious persecution. Religious persecution of minorities in these 3 countries. In these 3 countries, that if there was religious persecution of the minorities in these 3 countries, so on the basis of that, the government of India has got this one act, Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019. As part of that, certain group of people, they have been given the right that they can apply for Indian citizenship. So what is the special thing for them? What is the special treatment for them? Their residency requirement has been decreased from 11 years to 5 years. Their residency requirement has been reduced from 11 years to 5 years. That is the only thing which has been done. That they can avail the Indian citizenship if they have been living in India before 31st December 2014. If they have come to India before 31st December 2014, they can easily avail the citizenship of India. Because this act was finalized in 2019. So 5 years was already completed. 5 years was already completed. So what we see here, that there are like a special provision. There is a special provision. Okay. So here what we see, that this special provision is only for some group of people. Only from some group of people. Okay. So in this context, like there is one part, like they should have faced persecution, then on that basis they are given this status. Okay. Now, if we talk about the legal status of these people, so the legal status is that they are deemed citizens from their entry date and legal proceedings are closed. Like suppose if they have come to India before 31st December 2014, then there is no such legal proceedings which will be done against them. They have been deemed citizen. Even if they have not applied for it, they are deemed to be citizens. They are deemed citizens, means they will be treated as citizens. Okay. What we also see, that there is an exemption. Okay. So they will not be prosecuted under the Foreigner Act. And at the same time, there is one geographical exemption, that if they are living in tribal areas in Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Tripura, or areas under inner line permit of Arunachal and Nagaland, they cannot avail this benefit. So those people who have come from Pakistan, Bangladesh, or Afghanistan, if they are living in this area, they would not be able to get the citizenship. If they are living anywhere outside this area, they can apply for citizenship. Okay. There is one condition, they must have come before 31st December 2014. However, now the Supreme Court has said this, that it is not automatic. Okay. It is not automatic. Supreme Court has said that they have to go through verification and they have to fulfill certain statutory condition. Okay, that they have to fulfill these verification process, they have to undergo the scrutiny, and they have to fulfill the statutory conditions. Only after that they will be given the citizenship. Okay. So there is the observation of the Supreme Court. Chief Justice Suryakant, he has given this one thing, that applicant must show which minority they belong to in the foreign country, whether they were resident in that country, whether they fled due to persecution, or in what capacity and circumstances they have entered India. So earlier in the Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019, it was being believed that anyone who has come to India from these three countries, from the minority group, they will automatically get citizenship. But now the Supreme Court has said that no, it's not so. You have to fulfill these conditions, and then after only you would be given the citizenship. Okay. So this is one change. Okay. Why there is not involvement of Muslims in case of Nepal where they are in minority? So this why question is not for me to answer. Is this not a mark on secular principle of Indian Constitution? It is. It doesn't talk about Muslim. I think it should consider religious persecution only. Yes. See, these are the debates with respect to Citizenship Amendment Act. That should it be more inclusive or not? Should it focus on only one group or not? These are all debates about the Citizenship Amendment Act. But the thing is, from the exam point of view, they are not that much relevant now. It has been more than 5-6 years. This matter is settled. If Supreme Court is saying something about it, then again there will be fresh discussions on this. Otherwise, this matter is settled now. Okay. In upcoming future, there might be some amendment with respect to Supreme Court or other institutions, but right now it is settled. Okay. So let's not go into that debate that whether it is good for India's secular fabric or not, what is being done here. So that is a different story altogether. Yeah. So we are just discussing this one part, that what has been said by Supreme Court, that even those who have been called to be a religious minority in Afghanistan, Pakistan and Bangladesh, will they be able to get this or not? Yeah. So this is one part. Like there are Buddhist people in Myanmar also. Sorry, there are many religious, there are Buddhist people in Myanmar, and they have also persecuted many such other minorities. Normally, we see that Buddhist people are seen as quite peaceful people, but in case of Myanmar, we have seen the religious persecution of many groups by the Buddhist people also. So religious persecution is something which is going on by different groups in different part of the world. Okay. Whether this act is inclusive, the answer is no. Now, is it valid? Supreme Court has said that it is valid. Supreme Court has said that it is valid. There is nothing wrong with it. Okay. So in that case, we cannot say that it is wrong. Okay. We can agree with it. We can disagree with it. Now coming to this one part, Aditya L1 and solar storm. Okay. So now when we talk about the Aditya L1, you might be aware about this, that Aditya L1 is one such solar probe of India which is placed at Lagrange 1 point for observation of solar storm. Okay. So what is this news article all about? Just look at this one thing. There are different groups like Stereo 1, Aditya L1, Discover, ACE, Artemis P2 and Wind. So these are the different observatories. These are the different observatories which are surrounding the sun. Like Stereo 1, Aditya L1, Discover, ACE, Artemis P2 and Wind. They are the different observatories which are observing the sun. And in 2024, what we see that there was merger, of two coronal mass ejection. And this made solar storm extremely powerful. Extremely powerful. So why this news is there? This news is there because it has been said that Aditya L1 is the part of these 6 different solar probes which has together seen this solar storm merger. That one coronal mass and second coronal mass, they have merged together. They have become much more powerful, much more destructive. And for this very purpose, in 2024, the solar storms were quite intense. They were quite powerful. So this study was conducted by these different solar probes and Indian solar probe. They belong to NASA. Okay. And its partner, like NASA is also having partnership with other institutions. So they mainly belong to NASA, and this one is ISRO's Aditya L1. So with the help of this, we have been observing the sun. And this Aditya L1 also became part of that group which was observing this solar storm. Okay. So that is why this news article was there, that Aditya L1 is part of the global effort to study about the solar storm. Okay. So I have one question from you. Okay. I have one question from you. Can you tell me why there is coronal mass ejection? Why there is coronal mass ejection? This is one question which I am leaving for you. You can answer me later about this, that why there is coronal mass ejection. Is coronal mass ejection an electromagnetic wave? Not entirely, but it does have the component of electromagnetic wave also. Not entirely, but it does have. It has certain particles also, very high energy particles coming out of it. See, it is quite simple. If you look at this, it is quite simple. Coronal mass ejection. Coronal mass ejection. Okay. Mass ejection means ejection in bulk amount. What is being ejected? Ejection of plasma. Ejection of matter in plasma state. Ejection of matter in plasma state with huge amount of energy. Huge amount of energy. This energy is coming to us in form of electromagnetic wave. The energy which we are talking here, it is coming to us in form of electromagnetic wave. But at the same time, during this coronal mass ejection, some particles also come out of the atmosphere of the sun. The particles in the plasma state, they also try to come out from the surface of the sun. So during the coronal mass ejection, while energy is also coming out, energy in the form of electromagnetic wave, the particles in the plasma state are also coming out from the gravity of the sun. These two things are occurring simultaneously, and then they are being observed by these solar probes, like these solar probes in the space. Okay. So that is our second news article, Aditya L1 and the solar storm. हाँ, ये इंग्लिश वाली क्लास है, of course. Hindi wali class at 6 p.m. Yeah. Now we have the third article, that is Surya Kiran. Surya Kiran. So this is one military exercise which is being conducted between India and Nepal. So this is like the 19th edition. We are having the 19th edition, and it is being organized in Uttarakhand in Pittorgarh. What is unique this time? What is unique this time? This time there is inclusion of unmanned air vehicles and also AI tools. So this is a military exercise between India and Nepal. This is a military exercise which is being carried out between India and Nepal. It is being carried out in Pittorgarh in Uttarakhand. And this time the unique part is that there is inclusion of UAVs and AI tools. In same manner, we are having another military exercise, that is Harimau Shakti. And this Harimau Shakti, it is between India and Malaysia. India plus Malaysia. And it is being carried out in Rajasthan. Okay. So this two military exercise is going on, India and Malaysia joint exercise, which is being carried out in Rajasthan. And then we have this India and Nepal military exercise, Surya Kiran, which has been carried out in Pittorgarh in Uttarakhand. In the Surya Kiran exercise this year, there was one uniqueness, that there was use of unmanned air vehicles, that is drones, as well as the AI tools in warfare. So this is one uniqueness with respect to the exercise Surya Kiran in this year. Okay. So although in UPSC prelims exam there is slightly lesser chance about this, but in other exams you might expect question on this, especially in CAPF exams or other defense exams. Okay. So now, coming to another small article, and I think all of you can tell me by yourself. So there is this one again news article. The opposition is trying to have a change in panel to select election commissioner. So can you tell me, if we are talking about the election commissioner, who are there in the panel? There are 3 people in the panel. Can you tell me who all are included in the panel to elect this election commissioners in India? I think this is something which all of you know. If you know, and I will be asking one more question with respect to this. So who all are part of this group? Who all are part of this group? This panel who select the election commissioners in India. Who is part of this group to select the election commissioners in India? Anyone? PM, leader of opposition, and expert member. Who is the expert member? Can you tell me who is that expert member? CJI? Nahi. Like the present panel. When we talk about the present panel, we have the Prime Minister, leader of opposition in Lok Sabha, and Union Cabinet Minister. The one who is nominated by PM. Now tell me one more thing. There was a case which was involving, the appointment process of this election commission. There was a particular case which was related to this appointment process of election commission. Can you tell me which case it was? What was the case? the name of the judgment. Like in that part, there was a recommendation of Supreme Court that there will be Prime Minister, leader of opposition in Lok Sabha, and plus there will be inclusion of Chief Justice of India. They will be there to select the election commissioners. So can you tell me which case was there? Which case was there? The name of the case was Anup Varanwal case. Anup Varanwal case. So in this Anup Varanwal case, Supreme Court has said that there will be 3 people in order to select the election commissioners. One will be Prime Minister, one will be the leader of opposition in Lok Sabha, and the Chief Justice of India. Okay. So this one is the case, Anup Varanwal case of 2023. And then what we see that it was overturned by the Election Commission and other election commissioners Appointment Act of 2023. So right now, this is the present panel. The demand is this one. It is being, opposition demands this panel. Opposition demands this panel. Okay. So opposition is saying that we need to go back to the process which was given by Supreme Court, that it should be Prime Minister, leader of opposition in Lok Sabha, and also this the leader of opposition in Lok Sabha, and also this Chief Justice of India. So this is one part which is being demanded by the opposition. So that is why you can see this one news article also about the election commissioner appointment as well. Now, one more topic which we have with respect to the transport crisis in India. There is this one topic with respect to the transport crisis in India. So if we look at this, just look at 2 angles. Okay. If we look at the transport crisis, we have 2 examples. This is the status of railway stations during the time of Deepavali and Chhath, especially for those trains which are bound towards Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. During the time of October, November, you would see that this is the rush at the railway station. People are not being just transported by trains. People are filled in the train coaches like animals, and then they are being deported. Then they are being just sent away just like animals in the trains. And the second crisis is a high-level crisis which we have seen in the case of Indigo flight cancellations. So we have 2 recent examples of transport crisis in India. Now the thing is, why are we having such transport crisis in India? What are the factors which are responsible for this? So let's see this one by one. First thing is, when we talk about the train crisis, there is one part. There is very much limited supply. The number of trains, the number of alternative trains or Vikalp trains or special trains during the festivals is quite on the lower side. There is huge demand, but the supply is very much limited. Why? Because of lack of infrastructure. Lack of infrastructure. We don't have sufficient amount of railway tracks to run new number of trains, to run extra trains. We don't have sufficient railway tracks to run the trains. Then if we look at this, the low cost. So what happens due to this? It leads to the very high demand. The train travel in India is quite low cost. And due to this low cost, a lot of people prefer to go by trains. A lot of people prefer to go by the trains. So due to this low cost, there is very high demand. And in the same situation, we see that in the case of the trains, there is dependence on public sector. There is dependence on the public sector. Now, public sector, it is having limited fund. This is having limited fund plus fiscal deficit issue, corruption, inability. So due to all these factors, we see that there is a train crisis in India. There is a train crisis in India. So this is one part which we see in the case of India, that why there is train crisis. Then we also see that there is a region of flight crisis also. In the case of flight, we don't have public sector dependence. We don't have the dependence on public sector. So what happens here? We have lesser strict regulations and monopoly of single player. Why Indigo was able to cancel the flights? Why the Airport Authority of India? Why the DGCA? Why the Ministry of Civil Aviation? Why it has not interfered? When there was lack of proper management at the airports, then also why there was no such intervention by these bodies? There has been many times when the government is saying that we are working for the betterment of life of the people. There is focus on ease of life of the citizens. But despite this, when the flight cancellations was going on, or when there was huge rush at railway stations, during that time, there was no involvement or very little involvement of the government. Government was simply unable to manage the crowd, the rush. Okay. So what will government say? That we have too much population. We cannot handle it. Government can say so that we have so much population that we are not able to handle it. Okay. But government will not say that. Okay. So here what we see that lesser strict regulation and monopoly of single players, that is the issue when we come to the Indigo flight cancellation. So now the thing is, so what is the suggestion? How we can do this? How we can overcome this challenge? So we can overcome by increasing the investment in public transport. Okay. We can invest in the public transport. But then the other question is, how we will fund that? How we are going to bring the fund for that investment? So that fund can come from taxing the top 1% rich individuals. If we are taxing the top 1% rich individuals, then also we would have sufficient amount of funds to invest in public infrastructure. Then entry of private players. Okay. There can be entry of private players in public transport, but it requires strict regulations. Regulations with respect to the fare prices, regulations with respect to the services which are being provided. So regulations with respect to fare and also the services. Then at the same time, flexibility in pricing. Like it has been said that government should allow flexibility in pricing so that demand and supply can be balanced. Demand and supply can be balanced. So to manage demand and supply with upper cap, like government can fix a upper cap that the prices will not go more than this. But there should be a flexibility that if train tickets are being provided at 100 rupees for 100 kilometer, in times of higher demand, it can become 120 also, 130 also. But there can be a limit that it will not cross 200 rupees or 250 rupees. Okay. So there can be a cap, a upper cap on the prices, but at the same time, there can be a flexibility in pricing. There can be a flexibility in pricing to manage the demand and supply. Then alternate travel options. Like in various areas, we have the potential to harness the waterways and also the roadways. So this is one part, like how we can go for solving the transport crisis in India. Yes, that is true that the government control will reduce gradually and there can be an issue like this. But then again, if we look at, can government provide for public transport for such a huge population? Given the fact that government has to also maintain fiscal deficit and all, it remains a challenging part that government can provide of so much investment in public transport. So it is like a challenging situation for government also, for private sector also. The transport sector in India needs the technological solutions. But again, you will find that the crisis is not with the transport sector. The crisis is that why so many people have to use the transport. We need to focus on this part also, that why so many people need to use the railways during the time of Deepavali and Chhat. Why they are not having the option to work at home. Why they are not having the options to work in their own estate. So there are some other issues also which we have to take into account. It is not just a transport crisis. It is a different crisis also. In other areas, in other parts, we don't have a similar crisis. In other routes, we are not having a similar crisis. So if the crisis is with respect to eastern states, particularly Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal and others, so we need to wonder that is it a transport crisis or the crisis lies somewhere else? Okay. So that is one part. Today we will not see that prelims special part. We will see it in the next session. Okay. Although you will get the PDF portion, but we will see that in next session. If you have any question, you can ask. Today we had many topics, so that's why not seeing the prelims section today. Is there any question? MPMLA getting, we are facing fiscal deficit. The government is not paying them. Government is not paying them. It's not that the salaries of MP and MLAs are getting increased by the government day by day. It's not the deficit is not coming from there. Main crisis of transport is lack of local employment. New supreme power is Indigo, not government who can publicly disobey orders. Then what can I say? Employment ability low kyun hai? Because there is lack of industries. There is lack of industries. There is lack of investment in these states. These states have primarily remained agricultural states. There has been lack of investment in in industries, in services sector in this area. Nowadays, we have the rise of service sector, but again, the service sector can employ a few. Cottage industries, village industries, they can be the one which can employ huge number of people. But then there is very limited number of cottage industries in these areas or MSME in these areas. Health issue, vitamin deficiency. It can be vitamin deficiency or it can be somewhat like when you are taking too much stress of something also, then also it becomes a challenge. So if you're forgetting something, then what you can do is like take a rest of 1 to 2 days and then start from basics again. Start from basics again. Whenever you feel overwhelmed, you can start from basics again. So that will help you to like consolidate your knowledge. Okay. So how we can increase mind capacity of holding things for longer period of time? You have to think about it. If you are able to think about the topics, then it will help you to memorize it for longer period of time. Like, you don't have to just read the topic. For example, if there is a topic, let's say we are talking here about the election commission. This is one topic which is quite famous. This is one topic which is quite famous. It has been there multiple times. Every month, at least you are getting 1 or 2 times. But when I asked you question, many of you were not able to give the answer correctly in the first go. So first of all, you have to see that, okay, when we are talking about election commission, it is a very important body. We must be aware that how it is being appointed. Why so many people are saying that it is not independent? What is the reason? The reason is the appointment process. That its appointment is not done in a free and fair manner. There can be a bias during the appointment only. There can be selection of those. There can be appointment of those people who will be doing the favoritism. So there is a problem with the appointment process itself. And then when you think about this topic, when you think about this, when you are even not studying, when you are going to sleep, when you are going to play some games, when you are listening to some music, during that time also, if you start thinking about the topic, if you start analyzing the topics in your mind, then it will become much more clear. Weight भी कम हो गया है. So then you have to consult a doctor also. Then you should be consulting a doctor also. That what you should be doing. So you should be consulting a doctor. Not just a physician. You can even consult someone for psychological well-being also. So many a times these things are related to the psychological stress also. Right now, Nishant, I am giving some topics of current affairs, like additional topics. Today we cannot add that because of lack of time, but we are trying to add it on daily basis. Overthinking. So whenever you are having overthinking, try to do one thing. Try to write whatever you are thinking. And if you start doing that, you will find that many of your thoughts will disappear. So whenever you get too many thoughts, try to write it. So this will help to get a hold over your mind. Nilu, I can suggest you that you will have to go with the doctor's advice only. Okay. So for today, the time is limited. So we will talk about all these things in next session also. So let's meet in the next session then, and then we will discuss about the remaining topics. Okay. So